So here's a few other things I got for the Canon Vixia, little accessories. Bought a set of filters. This is a ultraviolet, what they call a haze filter. And it's also a protective filter to protect the lens. It screws, they screw on over the lens like that. And this UV filter eliminates ultraviolet radiation, which when you get a lot of dust in the sky and things like that, it will create a haze. So if you're doing long shots with a telephoto, that haze will be compressed and it can obliterate your subject matter. So it will eliminate that, and it protects the lens. I leave it on there all the time. I never take it off. It protects the lens from damage and dirt and dust. So that will stay on there. This is a neutral density filter. And all it really does is it darkens the picture. Now this would be more useful in still photography. I wouldn't have bought this for the video camera because it doesn't really have much use, I don't think. It may have some applications in video, but basically what it does is it darkens the entire image. So if you want to, let's say you want to take a picture of a waterfall and you want that water to come out looking like it's all, very foamy or whatever, frothy. This will allow you to turn your, not your aperture, but your shutter speed slow, real slow, so it captures that motion and makes it blur. It gives the water coming over the waterfall a very blurred effect. Other than that, I can't think of what I would use this for in a video situation. Not on this camera. It has a highlight aperture, highlight priority, shooting mode. So if it's really too bright outside, I don't need a neutral density filter to darken it. I just switch the shooting mode over to highlight priority, and that takes care of it. So, but this came with the kit. It was a 3-filter kit, so that came with the kit. I probably won't use it at all. This is a polarizing filter, and this I will definitely use. And I've already used it once the other day. And what it does is it eliminates polarized light. Polarized light is what you see when you have glare, like reflecting off the ocean, off the lake, off the water, or off snow, or just off objects at all. There's a lot of polarized light in daylight, and it eliminates that polarized light. And what that does is it saturates the color. It makes everything look darker and more deeply hued than without that filter, because all that polarized light, all that glare that we have, you're not even aware of until you pop one of these filters on your camera and start looking around. Or if you wear polarized sunglasses, you'll notice the same thing. So this will eliminate the polarized light, and you'll probably see in some of my upcoming videos where the sky might be a really deep saturated blue and the clouds just popping right out of them. That would be the polarizing filter doing that. Professional photographers, studio photographers also use polarizing filters. If you're photographing like a fabric, like somebody wearing a nice wool suit or something like that, and you want that fabric to be the most important thing in your photograph, you put a polarizing filter on there, and all the studio lights produce polarized light too. It eliminates that polarized light, and it makes everything appear sharper and the colors look deeper. So it's a little trick that studio photographers use too, is polarized filters. So this I will be using a lot. This, I was having so much trouble. I have so much trouble with glare on the screen, on the viewing screen when I'm outdoors, because it's so bright. And there are times when I simply cannot see the image on the screen because the sunlight and the surrounding light and my face reflecting off the lens, I can't see the image. I can't see what I'm shooting. So this little thing, I'm going to have to cut away here for a sec. So This thing slides on. It's a little shade, like a sunshade. It slides on over the screen, and it helps, but it doesn't cut all the glare. It doesn't help enough. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to devise some kind of get some blackout cloth and make a cloth hood that attaches to this that I can put up over my head, like the old the big graphic cameras that the photographers used to use back in the early days. You know, the old glass plate negative, and then they throw the big hood up over their head. That's so they could compose the image on the screen. You get all that daylight reflecting off the viewfinder, and you can't compose your image. So I'm gonna have to Mickey Mouse some kind of a hood that I can throw over my head. This just doesn't do enough. It'll help in some situations, but it's just not enough. So, yeah, viewfinder cameras, that's what they were. The big old viewfinder cameras, 8 by 10 inch glass plate contraptions with the bellows and everything. They had big hoods that they dropped over their heads so they could compose. I'm going to need to do that. So, a few little goodies for the Canon. I bought a few accessories for the Canon, and little by little I'm starting to get fitted out pretty good here. Alright, so I started going through the manual, and I have to say the manual leaves a lot to be desired. They could have used some native English-speaking proofreaders to translate from Chinese. That's not so bad, but these images are so small. Look at how tiny these images are. I'm trying to figure out how to set up these clamps and adapters and stuff, and there's just not enough detail in there. To really see what's going on. I mean, talk about thumbnail. There's my thumbnail. Look at these tiny little images. This is crazy. So, I don't know, maybe you'll have to go to their website. Maybe later on I'll visit their website. But these little diagrammatic photos here don't really show enough detail to make it easy. And then look at this. There's your settings. Well, I can't read anything on that. I can't read a thing. It's blurry. It's tiny. These images, I have no idea what these images are supposed to be. And there's some basic information. Video mode, how to shoot in video mode, photo burst, time lapse, that's pretty good. Playback, storage, micro SD cards, battery, Wi-Fi compatibility and stuff. And then they give you some diagrams here of how to set it up for Wi-Fi. So you can use it remote controlled. You can actually control the camera from your smartphone. I don't know from how far a distance, but I'm definitely going to test that out. Might be handy for wildlife photography, you know. And then this. And that's it. And then it goes right into the German, and then the French and the Spanish, and that's it. It's pretty basic. I don't know. I have no idea what this thing would be used for. I'll figure it out as I go along. This thing obviously sticks down to something, probably like a helmet maybe. And then you can just snap the camera onto that. This one sticks down onto something too, but it's got a brass threaded sleeve in there, collar, so right in there. So that obviously is a tripod mount. So yeah, and then this thing, it has a tripod mount on one side, one on the top and one on the bottom, or whichever the top and the bottom is. Obviously that's the camera snaps into this, and then it attaches to various things. But this is a handlebar. Now, I'm glad I read the manual, because not only is this a handlebar clamp, it's also a pole clamp. You could clamp this to a pole. I'm thinking a small branch on a tree too, if you want to do wildlife photos with a remote control, or maybe set it up for time lapse and let it run through the night. So you know, you can capture the deer eating the apples off your tree. Whatever. This, where'd that thing go? That little wire in there, some kind of it feels like a stainless steel wire. That's a what we would call a lanyard, or what they're calling a tether. It's got a loop on each end. So I guess you can just attach it to something with the zip ties they gave me. Anyway, there's a lot to find out, and I'm sure in the future, in the days to come, I'll be playing around, monkeying around with this stuff, and having some fun. So, that's all the attachments that came with the camera. Now there's a whole bunch of other stuff that I bought in here. And this also was from Amazon.com. I bought it at the same time as I bought the camera. This was like 26 bucks. It's got a chest harness for mounting the camera on your chest. It's got a head harness for mounting it on your head or helmet. A little flotation buoy in case you should let go of it when you're in the water. And some more plastic mounts, probably duplicates of the stuff I got with the original camera. Oh, and there's that little, hold on a sec. So this little tabletop tripod came in that bag of accessories. And what I loved about it was this, the articulating arms. See that? I'm doing this one-handed. See that? You can wrap this thing around like a monkey paw. Wrap it around a tree branch or a piece of furniture or whatever. That's pretty cool. So we'll be having some fun with the new toys. I'll be keeping you updated as I go along. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, tell your friends, and we'll see you next time.